What's going on, guys? What's cracking? I'm actually, like usual, just a fucking awesome mood, and I've got to stop cursing. I promised myself I would stop cursing, and I also promised my friends that I would stop cursing as much, because now they try to watch the videos, but they're having children, and they can't watch them if they got small children around. So I need to stop that. So I apologize. I'm gonna try and stop. So what we're doing today is putting LED fog lights in the car. So the Supra has really weird fog lights, because they're not even fog lights in my opinion. So that light over there is your fog light, that's your low beam, and that's your high beam. That's just how they did it. In the older models too, they had like a running light here. Unlike that, the late models have the running light there, and that's your turn signal there. That's just how they did it. Why they did it that way, I don't really know. But what we're going to do today is put these in, because I haven't had working fog lights in probably, shit, I don't know. I want to say 7 years. So got some nice ones from Dynamics. These are supposed to be plug and play. So let's go ahead and start with that side and see how this works. So I had to get the Odyssey battery out of the way first, because you've got to remove this bolt here, and then there's two small bolts back there. And you're probably saying, well, Ryan, you just replaced the fog light. Well, I'll show you why. It's got those stupid hinge style, and it's so hard to do in the car, it's just easier to take it out. As much as I hate taking these things out, I have to do it this way. So what we're gonna do is this, take this guy out here, spin this, come on. Pull that one, sit that there. Pull this guy, come on, spin for me. I hate these things sometimes. The more stupidity here, this bolt is I put it on too tight, and I must have stripped it, so now I gotta drill it out and put a new one in. I'm an idiot. So I'm always watching this Calvin kid. He's up in like Rochester, or I think he said Rochester, New York. I really enjoy his videos. I'd like to meet up with him just because he does a lot of stuff in his garage. I can always tell he's very limited by funds and what he can do, but I love his enthusiasm. I love how passionate he is. If anyone can get me in contact with him, or anyone that watches mine knows him or some way, shape, or form, I'd love to get in contact with him. I'd love to meet up with him this summer or anytime soon. We could share content, do stuff with MR2 or Supra, and kind of do 2JZ and RB stuff, man. Let me know if anyone knows them. So I took the headlights out because of this. So these are like the H3 style bulbs, where they have to be locked in by this stupid like little, I don't know how you mechanism, and then you plug this end into the headlight part, and then you have a ground area. Can you see it here? This little piece here is the ground that you gotta snap onto also. Just easier to do it this way to make sure they're locked in right, it's not gonna move anywhere, and we can be done. Well, the lights wouldn't kick on, so I'm like, why? I got the grounds, everything else looks good, headlights work, I'm like, what the heck? So first thing you always do, check the fuse, pull the number 15 fuse here, which if I have it over here, it tells you inside your little box here, it tells it's 15A. Went and pulled it out, and as you guys can see there, she blown. Problem is, I've got all the fuses in the world. I've got a ton of fuses, I got a bunch of 10A, but no 15A. So I need to go run down to Advanced Auto. Thankfully, again, it's literally a mile from my house. I got an Advanced Auto and AutoZone a mile from my home, and Tractor Supply a mile from my home. I like being in town for that reason. Like if I need to run and get something quick, it's super easy to get to. All right guys, now that I've got the lights in the car, what I'm going to do is this. I've had this little USB for a while, but what this allows you to do is log with the AM Infinity. I don't have it in, but it's really easy to get in, especially in my car. The way I have it set up is you do this. I wanted to show you guys this too, of how I get this in and out. There's a little plug right here you have to press in on, which mine's extremely tight in there. Press in on that, and now this is loose, right? So you start from the back here. I'm assuming this is for people who've never owned a Supra before. If you own one, you know how to do this. Pulling that, and then there's a little clip back behind it. You want to put your finger under here, because there's only two little screws that hold this in, and this plastic strips easily. So get your hand underneath here and just pull slightly. You hear it pop, and here's the little clip I was talking about. It just holds it in ever so slightly, and then you can pull it out, just like so, and set her on down. You guys like my new table? It's all painted now. Big shout out again to my brother-in-law, Joey. Did a great job on this. He's gonna start making these for people. This was one out of scrap metal, because we wanted to do a cheapo one for me, just because I was gonna beat the hell out of it. This was like 150 bucks. Steel tubing, roller caster wheels. But now obviously he's gonna charge a little bit more. Sorry guys, it's gonna cost you a little bit more. But if you're interested, please hit me up on Facebook. He's looking to make these for people. Again, for this is 150, I think he's looking to charge 250, depending on what you need. Obviously, the wider, the different angles, the more shelves you need, it costs more, the more welding time. Yeah, those casters alone, I think were like 50 bucks, and they hold 1,500 pounds. This is a very narrow one. Obviously, you can see here, it's not very wide. We're gonna build another one for this corner here. But now getting my ADD ass back on track here, what we're gonna do next is pull down this carpet here to fold that, and then there's another piece of carpet right there, and then you have this plastic cover. Most likely you guys have this, which you can see my random wire there. Tuck that back in. There's two bolts. There's a 10mm here and 10mm there. Undo those, and then this plastic cover pops out. All right, guys, now that I've got that popped off, you'll see there's two little plugs here. One, we have the wire. We have my ECU wire that's actually in my glove box right there. Close that up. That actually runs up and that plugs directly to the laptop. What you'll see here is another one beside it. So what you want to do is spin that. Let that hang. Some people cut these caps off. I personally don't want to, just because I know I'm not going to have it like this at all times. But now what you got to do is take that cap off, plug that bad boy in. Now my next concern is, will that fit under that plastic cover? Ooh, I'm not sure if that's going to fit under that cover or not. That's going to be the new, I think that's going to be sticking out too far, to be honest. I didn't plan for that. Interesting. Never had this to be an issue. The highest point was here, but it starts low here and then comes up. So we'll have to see if that hits or not. So let's give this a try. Before doing that, guys, I went ahead and turned the car to the on position. It's not physically running. Obviously, you can hear how dead quiet it is. But when you do that, the top of the USB will light up like so. I wanted to mention this too. That's how you know you have a good connection. It will light up like that. And you can use other USBs, but this is actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Setup, or whatever the word you want to look for here. I can't think of it off the top of my head, to work with this ECU. So there's no setup there or anything. Once you plug it in, it starts working. Now, your tuner can set it up to when you want it to start logging. Like, I believe he set up anything over 1500 RPMs or a certain boost level, it'll start working. So yeah, that's that. And let's see if this cover fits. I don't think it's going to, because you guys can see here, it comes up at an angle. I highly doubt that's going to fit. So let's see if it does. So guys, it has a steeper angle than I thought. It don't even feel like I'm remotely close to it. So I don't even feel uncomfortable. I just got to put the two screws back on, or two bolts, which again go there and there. And then that holds it on. I mean, all it is a kick panel, so you don't step on your wires and your ECU. I didn't have it on for the longest time. I really had to cut and trim the back of it with the Dremel. It took me a while, but I wanted to put it back in because I was always paranoid. Every time someone sat in the car, I said, hey, watch your feet, don't step on this. Now, you know, this is, you're not, once that's bolted down, it makes no noise, it doesn't rattle or anything either. I also have that custom piece back there. It's just a sheet of aluminum I made, God, years ago, and it's worked fine ever since to hold the ECU and all the stuff on. All right, guys, so I got that hooked up now. We're gonna go back over here to my Infinity tuner, click that on. It's gonna load up here, and when you click these open, you always have to hit yes, and then it's gonna ask me for, come on, pull up the box. It's gonna ask you which tabs you want, like a 506 box, 508, so depending on which box you have, I have a 508 box, so I click all tabs 508. And now it says not connected, so I gotta go over here and key the car on, so give me a second. And not the whole way on, guys, either. Just key the car to the on position. Doesn't need to be running to do this. But now you can see there at the top, she has in green USB Infinity 5, which means it's connected. But what we're gonna do now is we need to set up the logging. So we're gonna go down here and go to channel setup, so you can either get your logs or channel setup. Right now we're gonna set up the logs, so you'll click that. And one thing you'll see here, you can add or remove up to 100 channels. So you've got a, I mean, good Lord. The easiest way to do is search this here, but you can see you've got a ton to pick from. I'm gonna do some basic ones here. I'm not gonna show you guys me clicking on each one. I'll show you what I pick on just for logging, and then I'm gonna show you a couple other things also, and how you have to turn this on specifically. These are just some of the ones I've added for now. Like I said, these are just a couple. Jesus, that's like what, 10, 11. I can add a lot more. I don't know what John would want in my tuner, so I'm just adding a couple right now. So we're gonna go ahead and commit that by going down here and clicking OK. Now what we have to do next is go up here to the wizard, setup wizard. And it'll pop up a screen here, like so. You open up the wizard there, you get this page here. Now you're gonna wanna go down to USB logging. And now in here, you're gonna see a couple inputs and outputs that you can set up. So what you're gonna do first off here is logging this. You wanna click this on. Now you'll see a couple parameters here, USB log by RPM, vehicle speed, and map. So when these are set, this will not kick on unless your vehicle speed right now shows 0. I actually want it to kick on only above 10 miles an hour. And RPM, I'm actually gonna change that to, let's make it 2300, because I happen to cruise between 23 to 24, 25 to like 3000 on the highway, and I'm trying to find some issues in that range, so I wanna make sure it's above that, but not recording all the time. And then for logging my map pressure, I wanted to log all the time. So, but it's got to meet these other parameters first before this one anyway. So this doesn't matter, but I wanted to log all of that. USB speed, I don't want to mess with this. It's already pre-programmed. You can if you want it to sample more and be a little bit quicker. I personally think that's fine. Now you're going to have to also go down here to advanced setup to finish this off. And now down here, guys, in the setup, you'll have like analog switches, and everything will be analog. Depending on your pinout, you have to choose yours. Mine's analog 11. Yours will most likely show disabled first. Mine is set up as analog 11, so I'm gonna click that again. And then shutdown delay. What this means is, after it meets these requirements above, but then goes below those, so it goes below 2300 and say 10 miles an hour. Once it goes below that, it has exactly 1000 milliseconds or 1 second delay until it turns off. So it captures that last little bit and then it'll turn itself off. That's all that means. So once you've got that, you close it out and you're done. And now it's set up. So whenever you turn your car on, run it through it, it'll start logging now. One thing I will say, I highly recommend that you key the car off and key it back on. This is my recommendation, just to be safe. Again, I'm not a real tuner, so this is just the stuff I've learned here as of recently. I have John Kerr that actually tunes my car, but that's just what I would do just to make sure it takes it, and you're good to go. One other thing I wanted to show you guys too is, I'm gonna go do this. If you guys saw my last video, go ahead over here. Come on, click it. I forgot to tell John I had an 1/8 inch MPT Pro AIT sensor in it before, and I forgot to tell him that I now have the crappy 3/8, which is slightly bigger. It's not as good, unfortunately. So that's why it was reading a little wonky. So what I'm gonna do is this, go up here. Oops, sorry, change back. There you go. And now it's set up. I'm gonna hit close there, and we're good to go. Now that's set up to the right ohms and it's scaled properly. That's why it was showing funny there before. It was showing the 1/8 inch and it was like, what the heck is going on? Well, how is it doing this? So that fixes that problem, and there's nothing else you need to do. Technically, you can scale it. If I go back here, if you need to, you can scale it. That's mostly meant, this is all meant if you're doing a custom scale. For us, we don't have to. Like you can see as stock scaling for just about everything you would want ever in here. But in case you wanted to, AEM allows you to customize it if you have a sensor that's not on the list. But because we're using an AEM 3/8, we don't have to do any of that. This is all pre-done. All right, guys, and that's gonna about wrap it up for this one. I hope this was helpful here today. I've got a ton done on the car. I've been enjoying the crap out of it. Still waiting for my clutch. I was hoping it would be in this week. Unfortunately, it is not. I know that Joel is waiting for his shipment of the clutches to come in. So once they show up, I should be good to go. The car does fine. It drives fine on 93 for the most part, but I can't really hammer it like I'd like to on ED5. On 93, it holds for the most part. It just sucks because obviously the car has kill mode now, and I kind of want to use kill mode, but it is what it is. So again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Do me that big favor, check out the Facebook, Instagram, the website. You know what to do. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.